Good Wednesday morning. Just a friendly reminder as we start, we will have our Bible study today. And I think it's going to be a little bit shorter today, so you can look for that. And it's going to be the last look we have at Revelation. And we're going to talk about in Noah's day, about how our days compared to the days of Noah when people were so apathetic about God and towards God. That's another Bible study. Look forward to it. For right now, we're going to be in 1 Peter 5:9. Now, once again, we've been talking about temptation. We've been talking about the blood of the Lamb to resist the devil. Now, Peter's going to have his word for us. We've looked at Matthew. We've looked at the book in John, the Revelator. Now, we're going to look at what Peter has to say about it. But resist him firm in your faith, knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren who are in the world. I hit on this a little bit last time, but I want us to hit really, really hard on it today. We have this idea that we're the only ones that are ever going through hard times. And especially because the quarantine's lifted a little bit and we're able to get out, but there's still a lot of folks that can't get out because they're high risk or other factors or things that are going on. I want you to understand something today, folks. And I want you to understand, no matter where you're at or what you're experiencing, you're not the only one suffering. My beloved, it is so easy to get depressed and down, and this most often leads to a big pity party. I would say it is because of our times, but every time and place also finds its hard patches. So we can't have pity party thinking we have had it rougher than any other place and time in history. Occasionally I run into folks say, oh, we've got it rougher, and the kids of today have it rougher, and all this. I've got news for you. Every generation has their battles. Every generation has their attacks. Every generation has their temptations, and every generation has their chances for a pity party. It's not any rougher on the youth today as it will be in end times, and not any rougher on the youth that it was today. We looked at Daniel last week. Hey, at least nobody's taking us up and moving us to Babylon. Every generation has its battles to fight. And you're going to have a pity party, and you're going to get down, and you're going to feel sorry for yourself every time you think you've got it rougher than everybody else. We come to church sometimes and we look around at the people that seem to have it together. I've got news for you. The church is a place for sinners. We're all broken. Did you hear me? We're all broken. Life breaks us all. The question is, are you letting God mend you and fix you? Don't think you've got it rougher than anybody else. But resist him from your faith, knowing that the same experience of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren who are in the world. You're not the only one suffering, and you're not suffering near as much as people in China are, perhaps. I know. I saw those sick video the other day on the news where those prisoners are sharing a mask and drinking from the same styrofoam cup, trying to get sick so that they can get out of jail. I got news for you in California. Those prisoners leaving the jail in California are just going into another kind of prison because they're not free to go where they want to in California at all. They're leaving one form of isolation for another form of isolation. We all got our battles, and nobody's got it rougher than anybody else. You're not the only person in the world that is having it really rough, and your cross is not the only one being toted. I love that. When I come to Texas, I love the idea of toting. And it's not bigger than other people's. It's just different. I like what Peter has to say to all of us. Stop it right now. You're not suffering alone. Many others are also in your boat suffering with you. Pick up your head, look around. Someone needs you to help them in their hour and time of suffering. You can be a crybaby or a blessing in the middle of suffering, or even because of your pain. I like what they do out at the hospital here. I like that they've got mentors for those people that have had heart bypasses. Because when you are in the pain of just having your heart taken out, worked on to put back in, that's got to be painful. But it really helps to have somebody come by and say, hey, not too long ago I was in the same place you're at right now. There is somebody hurting and suffering. You need to quit feeling sorry for yourself and go find somebody to minister to so you can get healthy and the Lord can bless you. Go find somebody to minister to. Quit having a pity party. See you tomorrow.